10 best simulation games, like piece by piece.
Oh,
So let's see if we can find some good recommendations for you.
perfect.
So, piece by piece has that really immersive, open-ended feel.
It does.
And I think that's what draws so many people to the simulation genre in general.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You get to step into another life, another world. Be a doctor, a city planner, a chef.
Whatever you can imagine.
Pretty much anything, really.
And it looks like this list has some pretty interesting options.
It does. All right, so first up, we have 2 Point Hospital.
Okay.
And I'm already kind of chuckling because apparently you're dealing with, like, quote-unquote ironic diseases.
Ironic diseases? What does that even mean?
I don't know. I'm picturing, like,
Right.
existential dread,
Uh-huh.
acute social media fatigue.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
What do you think?
That's hilarious. It sounds like they're really leaning into the absurd, which
Yeah.
I think fits their style.
Yeah.
But even with all the silliness, there's still the core gameplay.
Right.
Managing the hospital, the resources, staff, patients, all that.
Makes sense.
So there's got to be some strategy in there too.
Yeah.
Have you ever played a hospital sim before?
Not really.
Oh.
I mean, my management skills are more organized chaos than well-oiled machine.
I feel that.
But I think that's kind of the beauty of these games, right?
Yeah.
You can try out these different roles.
Exactly.
And, there are no real-world consequences if you, say, accidentally misdiagnose someone with a case of, incurable hiccups.
Precisely. It's a safe space to experiment, make mistakes, and learn. Even if those mistakes are hilarious sometimes.
Absolutely.
Speaking of clean slates, next up is kind of a wild card PowerWash simulator.
Okay.
Now, I know virtual cleaning might not sound exciting to everyone,
Right.
but this game has a pretty dedicated following.
Really?
What do you think about this, like, oddly satisfying genre of cleaning games?
Okay, so confession time.
Oh.
I actually find those, like, cleaning videos super relaxing.
Oh, interesting.
There's something about seeing a dirty surface get transformed,
Yeah.
All clean and shiny. It's just satisfying.
I get that.
And the article mentioned that you get to clean, like, huge things in this game.
Oh.
Houses, vehicles, maybe even a whole amusement park.
Wow.
Sign me up.
Yeah, that does sound kind of fun.
I'm ready for some virtual power washing.
I think it really taps into that human desire for order and control, especially in a world that often feels pretty chaotic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Plus, there's that tangible feeling of accomplishment, right?
Oh,
You take something messy and you make it pristine.
through your own effort.
Exactly.
Like a digital Zen garden.
But with more soap suds.
Way more soap suds.
All right, well, moving on from detailed cleaning,
Okay.
let's go to the grand scale of cities. Skylines.
Oh, city building.
This one seems like the ultimate sandbox for anyone who's ever looked at a city and thought,
I could do that better.
exactly. And it goes beyond just placing buildings.
Oh, okay.
You have to manage traffic, zoning, utilities,
Wow.
public services, all the little details that keep a city running smoothly.
So it's like a real in-depth sim.
It's known for its complexity, yeah.
It can be daunting, I bet.
It can be, but also really rewarding when you see your city thriving.
Yeah, when you get everything working just right.
Exactly.
Like playing SimCity on steroids or something.
That's a good way to put it.
My brain's already whirring with possibilities.
I can imagine.
And speaking of building amazing things,
Yes.
how about turning a dingy laundromat into a retro gaming paradise?
Sounds fun.
With Arcade Paradise.
Now that's a dream I can get behind.
Right.
That classic story of humble beginnings to bustling success.
It's a classic for a reason.
This game seems to blend business management with that joy of building the perfect arcade.
Picking the games, designing the layout.
Maybe even hosting tournaments.
That would be so cool.
Did you ever go to arcades growing up?
Oh, absolutely. Countless hours and quarters spent in those dimly lit havens of joy.
I hear you.
Flashing lights, the sounds of the machines.
Yeah.
The thrill of challenging your friends to another round.
It's a special kind of nostalgia.
And this game is definitely hitting all those nostalgia buttons for me.
It's amazing how games can transport us back to those cherished memories.
They really can.
And while Arcade Paradise seems like a lighthearted romp,
Yeah.
our next game might require a little more brain power.
Oh.
Kerbal Space Program.
Kerbal Space Program.
This one's known for its blend of silliness and surprisingly realistic physics.
Wait, hold on. So you're telling me I can't just launch rockets willy-nilly?
Well,
There's actual science involved.
there is.
My inner child is both thrilled and terrified.
That's understandable.
So how does it work?
You design and build your rockets,
Okay.
choosing from different parts, but you have to keep in mind things like gravity and orbital mechanics.
Sounds challenging.
It is. It has a steep learning curve.
But the feeling when you finally get a rocket into orbit,
There's nothing quite like it.
I bet.
People say it's out of this world.
Nice. I see what you did there.
I couldn't resist.
Well, I'm sensing a pattern here with these simulation games.
What's that?
You get to be the architect of your own little universe.
Oh, interesting.
Whether it's a city, a hospital, or even a whole space program.
That's a great observation.
Maybe I should start small.
Yeah.
Master virtual rocket science before I try, actual interplanetary travel.
That might be wise.
What do you think?
Kerbal Space Program is known for its, shall we say, explosive trial and error.
Okay, yeah, maybe baby steps.
Even seasoned players can get stumped sometimes.
Good to know.
All right, next up we have a game that taps into a different kind of tinkering. PC Building Simulator.
Okay, PC building.
I'm guessing this one's a must-play for anyone who's ever dreamed of creating their ultimate gaming rig.
Oh, for sure.
But it's not just about picking the flashiest components.
Right.
You have to think about compatibility, airflow, cooling, cable management,
All the details.
all the nitty-gritty detail.
That makes it realistic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it uses real-world brands and parts, so you can learn a lot from it, too.
So it's like a virtual crash course in PC building.
You could see that.
That's pretty cool.
I've always been curious about how computers work,
Me too.
but I've never been brave enough to open one up and start messing around.
Yeah, I feel that.
Too afraid I'd break something.
That's the beauty of simulations, though, right?
Exactly.
You can experiment without the risk of frying your motherboard.
Exactly.
Speaking of virtual worlds,
Yes.
we can't forget a classic, The Sims 4.
A classic indeed.
I think this one needs no introduction.
Everyone knows The Sims.
But what sets it apart from other life sims?
What do you think?
Is its sheer open-endedness?
I think you're right.
There are no specific goals.
Not really, no.
You can build a mansion, start a family, become a world-renowned chef.
Or just spend your days gardening and chatting with your neighbors.
The possibilities really are endless.
Like a digital dollhouse.
Yes.
But there's also a surprising amount of depth to it.
Oh, yeah.
The way the Sims interact with each other, their personalities, their relationships.
It's like a soap opera you get to direct.
Exactly.
I've created some crazy scenarios in The Sims.
I bet.
Accidental house fires, whirlwind romances.
About right.
It's a wild world.
It is.
But enough about my virtual shenanigans.
Okay.
Let's shift gears to a game that promises a completely different pace.
All right, what's next?
Euro Truck Simulator 2.
Euro Truck Simulator.
This one seems to be all about the open road,
Yeah.
the rumble of the engine, the meditative experience of long-haul trucking.
Sounds relaxing.
You drive across a detailed map of Europe, deliver cargo, manage your business,
Okay.
and just enjoy the scenery.
It's a surprisingly popular genre.
It is.
Some people find it incredibly relaxing.
Huh, interesting. It does sound like a nice change of pace from our fast-paced,
Right.
always connected world.
It is a nice contrast.
I can almost feel the stress melting away as I imagine, cruising down a scenic highway.
Yeah.
The only sounds are the hum of the engine and some country music on the radio.
It's a different vibe than managing a chaotic hospital
It really is.
or building a bustling city.
Definitely a different kind of challenge. All right, well, speaking of appetites,
Huh?
Gaming.net has ranked Animal Crossing New Horizons as the second best simulation game, similar to Piece by Piece.
Interesting.
We talked about it a bit earlier,
Briefly, yeah.
but let's dig a little deeper, shall we?
Sure.
What makes this game so special that it earned the number 2 spot?
Well, I think it's the perfect blend of creativity, community, and, wholesome escapism.
Okay.
You're building your own little island paradise.
Right.
Customizing your home, crafting furniture, growing a garden.
That does sound relaxing.
It is. But it's also about those connections you make.
Oh, right. The animal neighbors.
Yeah, forming friendships with them, exchanging gifts, participating in all those fun seasonal events.
I remember when this game came out.
Oh, yeah.
It seemed like everyone was escaping to their virtual islands,
It was a phenomenon.
especially during, those early days of the pandemic.
Right. It was like this collective breath of fresh air.
Ah.
A reminder that there was still beauty and joy in the world, even amidst all the uncertainty.
Exact. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've learned something new about simulation games.
And maybe even gained a little inspiration.
Until next time, happy simulating.